In this instant case, okay, so once you make it to the group stage of the World Cup, the MA is entitled to 9 million less expenditure. Prior to that, each MA is given 1.5 million to prepare for the World Cup. The convention here is that we always engage government and agree on the application of the net inflows. When we came back from the World Cup, we made proposals to government on how we think the football money has to be reinvested back into football. At the end of the engagement, we received a letter from the Chief of Staff where we were asked to invest 2.8 million in legacy projects on our land in Pram Pram. So there's no dispute about accountability or lack of accountability. As an FA, after our discussions with government, our share of the inflow was 2.8 million, which will go into legacy projects. As we speak, the council is going through the motions. We've already made public announcements at the Football Congress about our intention to invest in a 40-bed accommodation facility on our land in Pram Pram. So there's no dispute about how much money is available to the FA through our participation at the World Cup. Thank you. Convention in Ghana is that at the end of every participation in the World Cup, the FA engages government and the net inflow is discussed and its application is also discussed. Yes. In this instant case, the net inflow to the FA, as approved by the Chief of Staff, is 2.8 million, yes, which is supposed to go into legacy projects on our land in Pram Pram. At the two last FA congresses, one in Kumasi and the most recent one in Pram Pram, I made public statements to this effect, that we're going to invest that money in the construction of a new 40-bed accommodation facility.
So
that's not a statement of fact.
I was just asking.
What is a fact is that given our convention, you cannot apply any part of the money until there's a clear agreement with government. And once there was a clear agreement and a follow-up letter from the Chief of Staff, then we had the permission to start planning on its application. Thank you.
Okay, 0.5 million, which has been disputed.
Okay, so...
But, Mr. Chairman, I wanted him to react to the 8.5 million budget in Ivory Coast.
No, okay, so wait. What's your problem? Just drawing from history. In 2006, when we first participated in the Mondial, that was the same arrangement. In 2010, same. In other jurisdictions, inflows from the World Cup are solely left to the MAs for football development. That's why I said that is the convention. In Ghana? Yes, very well.
Chairman, I'm asking the question about the convention because the Sports Act actually directs that money that accrue to associations must be accounted for by the minister. I thought that's what he was referring to. That's why I say it's law.
I think we are talking about a specific matter.
Mr. Chairman, could we
So
go to-
let
AFCON. Okay. So what is the... Sorry, can you come again with the question? Sorry.
the petitioners are asking that we account for these monies, and I wanted you to give us
Okay.
an overview of how that was used.
So the FA doesn't handle monies for AFCON. The government of Ghana do not pay monies to the FA accounts. The government of Ghana doesn't pay money directly to the member association called GFA. Every money connected to national team campaigns are paid directly to the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and usually we are accompanied by what we call the purse holder. So I have no question to answer on budgeting because I don't control budget.
Right, referees, if you allow me. Yes, the Referee Association showed up this morning, and by the way, how much do you pay referees for like officiating fees?
Okay, so I will answer that question, but I want to make a comment. I hope... Okay, it's okay.
Mr. Chairman, I mean, you are allowed to make comments, so...
No, I'll take that question.
Okay.
Yes. So we have a fee for Premier League referees, and then a fee for Division 1, Women's Premier League, Women's FA Cup, and then the Men's FA Cup. And then the Regional Football Association also have fees they pay to referees. In the Premier League, we pay 1,100, and then in the Division 1 and the women's are the same. We pay around 900 and something per match for one referee. So for a Premier League match where you have 4 referees and a match commissioner, that will be times 5. So roughly, you are talking about over 5,000 per match, 5,000 Ghana cedis per match. If you appoint a referee assessor, then you are talking about over 6,000 Ghana cedis per a football match for the Premier League.
Right. Are there delays sometimes in releasing those monies to these referees?
Per convention and across the world, from FIFA, CAF, and every MA, referees are to honor the matches before it is calculated over a period, and then they are paid. So we pay them per period. Yes, so we pay in arrears.
You pay in arrears?
Yes.
So it's not that if a referee has to go to Nalirugu to officiate a game between Karela and, say, Accra House of Folk, they are paid 1,000 cedis, and that 1,000 cedis,
No,
they are not guaranteed.
One is paid.
What is that?
One person, one referee.
Yeah, one person, yes. The referee is paid 1,000 cedis.
Yes.
1,100 or 1,000 cedis.
1,001.
1,100 cedis. Yes. And there's no guarantee that the referee will have that money before they travel to Nalirugu.
No, it's not done anywhere.
It's not done anywhere.
Yes, because a referee can be changed.
So the referee has to pre-finance
Yes.
and then get reimbursed.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'm asking these questions because you know the perception about referees. And referees have been blamed for the declining of our game. I mean, they've been said to be part of the problem. And I was thinking, if you are paying referees 1,000 cedis to go to Nalirugu, I'm not sure how much the transportation from Accra to Nalirugu is, but I'm sure by the time they come back, the money would have been exhausted. And they have to pre-finance. Plus, they have to find their own accommodation. Mr. President, I think this is a big problem. Don't you agree?
No, if I may explain. And like I said initially, the system we run is not a system we run in only Ghana. It's the same for FIFA, CAF, WAFO, Ghana, and all the other MAs. Referees are paid after. We have done an intervention where when they take STC, we have an arrangement with STC where the bus fares, they pay 50%. So we have policies that ensure that performance is not hindered in any way. The thing is that a referee who is not good because he's being paid 1,100. So please, let's not link payment. Otherwise, no referee from CAF, FIFA, then no referee will be good. Because all referees go, they are not paid before they do the matches.
Let me.
Mr. Chairman, it's not necessarily about the figure, or it's not necessarily about the delay or the fact that they have to pre-finance. It's about paying a referee 1,000 cedis per game. Don't you think that's a recipe for corruption? And that's why referees, time and time again, come under the radar of being unfair and biased officiating.
Yes, that's why I've said that we cannot equate the payment made to referees to performance. We are paying 6,000, a minimum 6,600 for one match. If you multiply it by the number of matches we play in the Premier League, and you look at the quantum.
So, Mr. President, the issue here is this. That quantum per person may not suffice. Maybe that might contribute to some challenges we currently have in terms of officiation. So, and I love your angle where you introduced some discussions you've had with STC to come in to support. Good move. Have you approached government with this for support, also to better the environment, the ecosystem, so far as have you ever done this? Because it might not be, you might not have all it takes to take care of everything they need, maybe. So have you approached?
So, Mr. Chairman, during that time, he was not the technical director of the FA. He was not.
Make progress.
Yes. But in the instant case, I think there was only one player who didn't make it to the World Cup because of selection. That was Afenajan. All the other players were injured. The goalkeepers, Andy Yadom, Jojo Wallacott, Richard Ofori were all injured. That was it. Yes, they were injured.
So, are you done with the question? Very well.
I was first elected on October 25 and re-elected last year on the 5th of October. I have never cited any document whatsoever on Coach Boubacar Sisa. So I will start by taking the house back to where I started. We took over a collapsed football system, totally collapsed. And I hope all of us in this house will not be in dispute. we had to start the journey of rebuilding.
Mr. President, Honorable, it looks like this is about the fourth time this same question has been asked. And he's answering the same question over and over. So please, let's be mindful.
Then I have other questions.
Let's be mindful. Those questions that are...
For the records, the government of Ghana doesn't give GFA any money. The government, through the Ministry of Youth and Sports, funds national team-related activities through the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Absolutely no money comes into the coffers of the GFA from government. Monies that are used in the management of national teams are paid to the Ministry of Youth and Sports. The ministry do send what they call account or purse holders, and they make all statutory payments. No cedi comes to the FA. Thank you. Let me start by saying that as a leadership of the FA, we want to be either the best or always with the best. As leadership of the FA, we want to win every trophy. That is the vision of the leadership of the FA. What that means is that we wish to be in a much better situation than we are today. This is a statement of fact. But it's also true that we have revived coast football in Ghana after a hiatus period of 6 years. It's also true that we've brought the Black Queens back to where they belong at the AFCON. It is also true that the Black Princesses appeared for the 7th consecutive time at the Mondial. It is also true that our Women's Premier League is sponsored by Malta Guinness. It is also true that for 5 consecutive seasons, we've run our leagues uninterrupted. What is also true is that our Black Princesses won the All-African Games and won the Waffle Tournament. What is also true is that the Black Satellites won the All-African Games and became African champion in 2021. What is also true is that our Pram Pram and your Pram Pram is now a home, our technical center. This is also true. What is also true is that the GFA, for the first time, have constructed a FIFA standard AstroTurf in the Upper East, the very first one. This is also true. GFA. What is also true is that all our 10 regional offices are running all their leagues. What is also true is that through the support of KGL, we have the National KGL Championship, and we have set up the first ever GFA FIFA Academy in the Upper East with Big Ball Secondary School. This is also true. What is also true is that this year, we are setting up the next academy in the Ashanti region and in Greater Accra.
So
this is also true. Mr. Chairman,
I'm sure you
it's very easy.
You give us a dose
it is
of
very
it
easy,
in the beginning.
No, it's very easy
And,
for, Mr. Chairman, sorry, with your permission. It's very easy for people who are not so close to the sport to say things which are not wholly true. That's why in the beginning, I said I very much appreciate this platform.
The platform, okay.
Because if you know where we took Ghana football from, the levels of investment we have made, Pram Pram is a case study. It's not a finished article yet.
Very well.
Our women, our girls are now playing football and their games are live on TV. We take it for granted. Our Division 1 league is now live on TV. We take it for granted. This is hard work by these people here.
Yeah. So, Mr. President,
Can it get better? The answer is yes.
Very well.
Mr. Chairman.
And that is why we are here. We want to move forward. So, Richard, is there any question?
Thank you, Chairman, and I really appreciate it. Today, most of us have gotten to know much of the things that you are doing. Because at the face of it, people are looking at the love that football brings, the unity that it connects amongst the populace. And because a lot of attention has been shifted to, a lot of discussion now is on the EPL and then the Spanish League. So even though you are doing all those things, people may not see it or may not even realize it. I understand. Definitely there are people who also know it but would also want not to promote it, as you say. I would kindly suggest that you can do beyond this committee from now so that people get to know what is happening on the ground. Because we all know you have been a football person for quite long. I beg you, for quite long. And in the past when we didn't have this Champions League, everybody's attention was on our league, whether you like it or not. You watch Okowu United or the Busuan Dwarfs or whatever, but now there are other. So I just want you to also help to promote what you are doing.
Very well.
That people get to know the things they're doing. But that is, but my final question, but this is,
So, thank you very much. Standards are falling is relative, to be honest with you. But, again, it can be better. In so many jurisdictions, football clubs are supported directly via grants. Now, you talk about Ethiopia, you talk about Egypt, you talk about Tanzania, you are talking about Morocco, you are talking about Ivory Coast, Benin, Nigeria. These are countries where football clubs are supported by central government directly. Grants. These are facts. Number two, it's important for us to make clear the provisions we have for the private sector who support sports or football by way of tax rebates. Because from where we sit, there's a lot of work to be done to encourage companies to freely come into the football space. Three, we have said on numerous occasions, including the last Congress, that we provide entertainment to our people. Our clubs pay 17.5 VAT. Other entertainers are paying 3% flat rate. From where I sit, I have to pay taxes to clear goods to be used by our black stars, our black queens. I pay taxes to clear, custom taxes to clear our black stars jerseys. From where I sit, I have to pay the AstroTurf that we use in Upper East, over 300,000 euros in duties. From where I sit, there's a big space for companies who are involved in the alcoholic industry to invest in football. Typical example is Guinness Ghana. We've had numerous meetings with Guinness Ghana. FDA says no, they can't come into football. Meanwhile, the biggest football product in the world is the European Champions League, and it's been heavily consumed by the youth of our country. Heineken sponsors the Champions League. Every youth of this country is watching the European Champions League. Why are we depriving the sports sector of this possible revenue stream? The World Cup, we were all in Qatar. Budweiser was the sponsor. All the adverts were consumed by all of us here in Ghana. So again, I'm coming back to my initial position. How do we see football, and how do we want to position football? People use Morocco as a case study, and I'm saying it's wrong for Ghana, because the entire governance infrastructure in Morocco is football. The man in charge of the checks in football is my colleague, he's the president of the federation. He's the head of the football, he's the head of budgets and finance in Morocco, and he's my colleague. Everything in Morocco is football. The Atenkas Center is not sponsored by the FA of Morocco, by the king, the government.
Okay.
So please,
Use the word government.
it's very important for us to see football the way we love football. Ghanaians love football. Everybody, 30 million plus, love football. And we need to see football and pay attention to football. Mr. Chairman,
Thank you.
it's also important for us to really position how we see our investment in football. Do we see our investment in football as a social investment or as a commercial investment? A lot of our peers, a lot of the MAs, a lot of the government sees their investment in sports and in football as a social investment. This is a lot for us to think about.
Very well. The
Referees or Referees Association of Ghana.
Referees Association of Ghana.
Oh, they are the welfare body of
Yes,
referees.
the welfare, yes.
they acknowledge same that they are welfare.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So
And-
please,
But I hope they know their role properly. Because I've read some bits and pieces on the social media space, and I was like, did they really say this here? You know, I was quite
which
surprised.
one in particular?
About appointments and trainings and their position. So the RAG is a welfare body, just like the Ghana League Clubs Association. It must be clear. The League Clubs Association, GALCA, is a welfare body for our clubs. And they take care of the welfare issues of our clubs. The RAG is a welfare body of referees in Ghana. In the time past, they used to pick up roles that were supposed to be performed by the FA. Since 2019, referring to the provisions in the FIFA statutes, we took up that responsibility of owning referees and training referees. This is a clear distinction. That's all.
Chairman, I think it's quite late, so I wouldn't want to drag things
No, we
too
love
much.
this platform, so let's go on.
I actually was quite intrigued.
So if you don't have passion, and if you don't have extreme passion, you cannot be in football. 99% of the people in football are driven by passion, especially owners of our clubs. It's as simple as that. You can make a private survey with owners of football clubs, and they'll tell you they are driven by passion. You can ask me the question here, because I'm here, I'm a club owner. I am driven by passion. Thank you.
And when you sell your players, right, there's something eventually.
Once in a while, you sell.
There's always something. So just to close on my questions, what are the biggest challenges you are facing now outside of financial? I think you've already spoken quite well about the challenges you have on the financial side, but what do you think is the biggest bottlenecks that, if we are able to take those out of your way, you believe that, you know, Ghana football will begin to see the brightest future that we all desire to see?
Much honorable. Even though you mentioned that I've already spoken about financials, football is capital intensive. It's heavily capital intensive. Today, we are talking about football pitches. We are talking about clearing of items at the port to be used by our national teams.
May I ask if you've ever attempted to request for tax exemptions for...
Oh my God.
You have?
Numerous.
Okay, okay.
Even currently, Honorable, some of
Committee
you were
can-
invited to our last Congress where I spoke about the buses we have
buses, yeah.
imported for our clubs. They are the port. No exemptions.
Well,
Sorry?
we will,
Sorry?
we will,
You said AstroTurf.
let me. Order, please, let's quickly. No,
Chairman, Ranking made a comment.
Being paid by our clubs. This entertainment tax equivalent or whatever it is has to be looked at. How do we encourage the private sector to be more interested in football? In football, how do we make tax incentives readily available for them? This limit on FDA, or this FDA provision on alcoholic beverage companies sponsoring sports or football must be looked at immediately. For me, it doesn't add up at all. So at the end, we are blessed with the human capital. We don't have the cash resources to implement the ideas that we have. And for how we see Ghana.
so, Mr. President, you will realize that you are acknowledging some challenges, financial challenges, and all that, including the need for us, probably the committee, to speak for you with regards to all such waivers, because definitely we all believe that it must be done. There must be a window of opportunity for you to be able to clear your items anytime they come to the port, particularly when they belong to the national team, and so on and so forth. And the taxes on the buses, for instance, we do not see why you should be struggling when there's a statement in manifestos that government will be supporting sports, the development of sports. I thought this is a low-hanging fruit for somebody to begin now, get you all the waivers so that you can clear the vehicles. So you realize that all of these matters that we think adds up to the reason why you are here. And so this platform, you should even praise Save Ghana Football and all the others who put together the petitions to Mr. Speaker, for which reason we are gathered here. I think you should be happy within that we are talking this way. But I have few questions, a few questions. Now, can you tell me the policies, have they ever discussed with the FA? Can you share that with me?
Regulation on sports, deriving from the Sports Act. We were sent a copy.
That is the regulation, LI.
Yes.
Yes.
A meeting was held at
We are talking about
East
policy, intentions.
Lagos. None so far.
Nothing. Okay. What's your position on this AstroTurf's so-called 100 and something that they have built across the country? What's your position on that? And what's your position on these AstroTurfs that have been built across the whole country?
Mr. Chairman.
Oh, why, Mr. President? I want to know your position on all of this. Why you've shifted to Randy? Randy Bill. Okay, Randy, come in.
Mr. Chairman, any initiative that will provide playing surfaces for people, especially the young people of this country, is laudable. And so anytime you see an initiative that will provide better playing facilities, because that's the fundamental thing that especially children need to develop their talents. And so any initiative in that regard is good. However, I think that over the last 5 years or so, we have at every opportunity in having discussions with some of our friends who are either with government or the organizations that are involved in these pitches, have said that it would help if...
In this case, I'm zeroing it on government approaching you or telling you their intentions and all whether you have participated in such discussions,
nobody.
out of which we have all these astroturfs so-called across the country.
Those are not things
And
that
so then this leads to the next question, whether those astroturfs meet CAF's standard.
No, so that's what I was explaining. That you see, when they are playing surfaces around the country, it's good. Kids will get the opportunity of honing their talent and all that. But we've made it clear over the last 5 years to many of our friends who are in decision-making areas that it will help. For example, if they collaborated with, say, the FA. Because sometimes you see some of those facilities very well done, beautiful, but the playing surface, the dimension, you would realize that for some of them it's just off by 9 feet. You know, the dimensions are not done properly. There has to be a distance between, let's say, what you see as the white line and where the bench is and the fencing. All those are
so
technical.
In effect, they are not up to standard.
Those are all technical dimensions. And if you look at the size of the places, with a little consultation, we could have assisted in helping with these dimensions so that these fields will not just be for recreational purposes, but can also be used for competitive football. That's the downside.
So on your own, as the FA, have you taken the trouble to do some work in terms of as little auditing of those places and writing something on it to the Ministry of Youth and Sports?
We have out of our own volition, provided these dimensions. We have even published them. We've provided them to some of the people who are involved in this thing, what these dimensions are, the minimum, the maximum, to guide people in constructing some of these surfaces. Let's make it clear. For some of them, it is not for purposes of competitive football. They are maybe community-based for recreational purposes, which can serve non-competitive football as well as other purposes. But I'm saying that there are many of them who, if they had consulted, we could have had surfaces or facilities that would be used for competitive football. So in some of the cases, the FA has had to bend the rules to allow for some competitive football to be played. I can use 2 pitches as an example. If you take the Magdan one at La, we're allowing women's football to be played there. It does not meet the requirement. But we also have a problem with playing surfaces. So we allow that. We allow the Medina to be used. That also there were issues. In fact, even the day of the inauguration was when we pointed out a lot of these issues to the then minister and other government officials who were there. We had to also bend the rules for, was it the Wali Wali? Wali Wali. That was where the 9 feet thing. We had to also bend the rules so that they can play some games there, because in that part, you do not have a lot of these facilities. So if these consultations have been made, would have been able to, in spending the money in doing these facilities, done things that will serve both our competitive purposes and recreational purposes.
I want
Chairman,
to
let me
ask
use
you.
the